Welcome everyone. This is Randy Nunez from Between the Chalk Lines. This is not your normal weekly wrap up. I'm having Stephanie Shampluski again from Chicago. Uh, do we have anything new, Stephanie?
I'm
Or,
excited to start a new job. I won't say where it's with for privacy reasons, but it will be in the sports digital atmosphere. Excited to previously work from another sports outlet to bring my expertise to another. So I'm very excited for that. Thank you, everybody.
great. That is awesome. It's good to hear that you're still in the sports sphere. Uh, I love that. So you'll still be able to come on the podcast, right? You're not too busy for me.
Absolutely. Just for you, Randy.
Okay, I love it, love it, and of course, it's all baseball talk all the time here. So you know what we're gonna talk about today? It's baseball, and not just that, but hot takes and some picks that Stephanie and I had after the last time I had her on. We talked a little bit after the episode recording, and we had some picks. You guys, if you follow me on social media from the Chalk Lines, you already have my picks for this year. But I'll go over them just for you and just for Stephanie, obviously. Um, we're going to talk about that as well. And some of our thoughts about this April, because I've always been told and I've always said you can lose the season in April. You can't win it, can't win the season, but you can definitely lose the season. And I have the
Hmm.
standings for going into today. So we're going to go over that as well. Uh, Stephanie, you said you wanted to talk about, before, off the record, your AL pick for AL Rookie of the Year, which we
Yes,
actually
absolutely.
shared. We had the same
We
person.
did. So for AL Rookie of the Year, now these were our guesses, obviously, before the season, or actually as the season was starting. But you and I both had Jackson Holliday of the Baltimore Orioles organization as
Yes.
our AL Rookie of the Year. So Randy, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I am going to scratch him off my list at this time and swap him in for Texas Rangers Wyatt Langford. I've been
Uh,
very impressed with Langford so far for the Rangers. He had a really impressive debut. He's had 23 hits in 25 games. He's had obviously like I believe almost the same amount of strikeouts as well, but I think he's got just below under 300, actually below 250 batting average if we're looking at recent statistics, but
yeah.
he's had a decent he's had a decent call up in my opinion. A decent season. Really impressed with him. Jackson, I'm glad that the Orioles brought him up when they did, obviously just to get some at bats in. He's impressed me defensively at second base. But offensively, he still needs some work done. So I'm happy that I believe they recently brought him back down to AAA to work on his mechanics.
Yeah, they literally just sent him down, I think, a day or two ago. So
Hmm.
he was just optioned back to AAA. And you know what? It was said that he needed to work on hitting against left-handed pitchers. Before the season started, everyone was yelling, timing manipulation, timing manipulation. They're trying to keep him for another year. And what we saw at the plate was very similar to what we saw with Pete Crow Armstrong, actually, of the Cubs. And
Very much so.
I want to bring him up later. But it was like 2 for 30 something. He had I think it was a .056 batting average. Not pretty at the plate. But like you said, second base, great. We know he can play in the field. We know he can play the field.
Hmm.
He's a natural shortstop. I don't know if the problem there is from switching from short to second mentally. He had to focus on that more than focusing on hitting. But it just reminds me a lot of some other recent call-ups. Like I said, Pete Crow Armstrong, Christopher Morel, the Cubs that just come to mind. Um, the big thing that bugged me with Jackson Holiday coming up was them giving him the Iron Man's number.
Mm,
You know,
yes.
Cal Ripken Jr. How can you
Yes.
not have already retired at A, and
Yep.
then B, given an unproven prospect the number on day one?
Mm-hmm.
Day one, you give him number 7. I mean
Yeah, I don't know.
that's a huge thing. But hey, I'm just a fan. I'm just a guy that has a podcast that nobody listens
We
to
don't make the
anyway.
rules, do we, Randy?
No, we do not. We do not make the rules. You're definitely right about that.
Also, yeah, I don't know how his number hasn't been retired. I don't even know what the organization, what they do in terms of retiring players' numbers, because sometimes when players retire, it often seems like the organization can retire a number quickly. Like I'm sure the day that, Patrick Kane retires, I mean, I don't think we're gonna wait 10 years to be, hearing that his number's up to the rafters. But then it's like, Cal Ripken Jr., how is his number
Still
not
available.
retired?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense,
It doesn't,
So
honestly. He
I don't know.
stopped playing over a decade ago because he's already in the Hall of Fame. So, you know, they've had ample time to give him his you know, nice celebration and retire the number. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, it does take some time for some people. And the Orioles were just sold. So if I'm probably said this already, but the family that owned them sold off their team, and I think actually for the better. This is better for the better of the team because now they have a massive amount of funding.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to look at their formula, and you look at that lineup, and the lineup consists of 80-90% of family or farm grown prospects. Good drafting, good development, good farm system, and it's paying off. They went to the playoffs last year. They're probably going to the playoffs this year,
Yes.
and they still have guys in the farm that can come up and
Mm-hmm.
help them. So it's just crazy. I don't know. They have to sign one or two guys a year, maybe at most, in off season. But moving on to the hot takes, I have a couple.
Start us
One
off.
of the craziest things that I have seen is the Astros start to the season.
Okay.
They have had the worst start in nearly half a century for
Wow. Yep.
their organization. They're going to miss the playoffs. I mean, this might not be really a hot take, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pointing out the obvious in April at least. They might go on a hot tear and win, 15 games and prove me wrong, but as of now, I don't see them going in the playoffs this
They
year.
don't have the cans this year or what?
No comment on that. No comment on that. But the games that I've been hearing and watching, I haven't heard any cans. No.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, not rooting for the Astros. Sorry to any Astros fans out there. Just, for organization reasons, not really a big fan, but um yeah, I believe they just got swept by the Cubs, right? So it's
Yep,
like
they did.
I was very happy to see, and that's also, we could talk about Pete Crow Armstrong. But I was just very excited that the Cubs swept the Astros. Again, I'm a Sox fan, but even seeing our North Siders, just seeing Chicago in general take down the Astros was really great. But I'm kind of like sick of seeing the Astros in the playoffs all the time. So if this is their year to miss out on the playoffs, then hot take, I'm all for it.
That's totally fine. You know what? We can say whatever we want here on the podcast. We have no limits. You know, like
We're
I
not
said,
sponsored
we're
by
not sponsored
any
by
yeah,
any
by
big
the
companies.
Astros or
Nope,
yeah, so
nope.
we could say what we want. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're totally fine. It's kosher. Um, Next thing for me, you said you want Wyatt Langford, or you think like Langford's going to take Rookie of the Year,
I think
possibly.
so.
I think his buddy in the outfield, Evan Carter,
Really?
19 hits in 24 games, 5 home runs, um, hitting a little under 250, but I think if he brings the average up, he's got the power,
Yeah, he
to
does.
really, like I said, we're looking at Mike Trout who's got 10 home runs, but you have this rookie Evan Carter who's got five,
Mm-hmm.
and if he keeps pace, he's gonna hit 30 plus home runs, possibly 40 plus home runs in
Yeah.
his rookie year. So that doesn't look bad on your resume when the voters go to put in their
Yeah,
votes.
Wyatt's actually still missing. He doesn't have a home run yet, but okay, so are you officially swapping out your Jackson Holiday pick with Evan Carter?
If I could go back to when we picked and put down Evan Carter, I would definitely put Evan
No,
Carter.
we're officially switching. I think we're allowed one switch up. So
One switch up?
I'm gonna stick with Wyatt
Okay.
and you're gonna go with are you gonna
Carter.
swap out?
Yeah,
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go with
swap out the
Carter?
Carter and go with
All right,
Carter.
you heard it here first, guys.
Yeah, this is going up
Yeah,
today. This is going up
this is going up today.
Saturday today, and this is not our normal schedule. We would have already put this up 2 hours ago, but this is going up later today, live, basically. So you heard it here. You watched it here. Stephanie has chosen White Langford from the Texas Rangers, and I have chosen Evan Carter of the Texas Rangers. And speaking of Texas Rangers, I want to say that I don't think they'll win the World Series again, but I do think that they will go deep in the playoffs uh, until the AL CS, and I think they're going to lose to the Yankees, who will go to the World
Okay.
Series.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I still, I don't have my list in front of me right now, but I know that I said Dodgers will make it to the World Series, if not win it. But
yeah,
I really see the Orioles making a run for it this year.
possibly. Yeah, I do think that the Orioles can make it. I just think I want to stay with my pick and have the Yankees go to the World Series. And I still think, just looking at the standings going into today, April 27th, as of last night, the Braves look really good. They just got back Ozzy Albies, second baseman, came back from a fractured toe, and that lineup is dirty. They're unfortunately missing Strider, who got hurt and is probably going to be missing the entire season, um, and part of next season. May possibly. We still don't know his timeline. Obviously, he had surgery on his shoulder or elbow, I believe it was. And I think even without Strider, they can make it to the World Series. Will they win? I hope, because that's my pick. But, you know, possibly not. It's it's just crazy how, again, another team that drafts well, develops well. And they send their guys. They have a lot of, um, you know, they just believe in their guys, and they sign them early and young to long deals. Albies, Acuna Jr., others. But um, you said you had some other thoughts on some of your picks. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I can see, just kind of like looking at my previous list of my picks and how I see the standings right now. the Cleveland Guardians are obviously going to make it to the playoffs. Now, are they going to make it to the World Series in place of the Orioles? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I like the Orioles a lot better right now. I just think they're playing really well. Guardians, I don't know. I feel like they can make it to the ALCS, kind of how you said the Texas Rangers will, but I don't think that the Guardians are going to come out on top.
Yeah, and it's funny to see that because going into today, they are the top American League team as far as winning percentage. So the stats, it goes Cleveland, Baltimore, like you said, and my New York Yankees are tied with the Kansas City Royals, who I think the Royals will, obviously overtake, or no, the Yankees will overtake the Royals. I was going to say, and continue on. But I want to thank you twofold because I had already started a card giveaway like we did last time. But this time, instead of starting it, I'm actually finishing it with you today, Stephanie. Wanted to announce the winner of this Cleveland Guardian, Jose Ramirez, 2023 Topps Finest Purple Refractor goes to Martin Barlin, who picked number 27. And this is number 225. I don't know if you can see that all that great, but this is,
Nice card.
yeah, it's numbered 225. Right under that. There you go. You might be able to see it there.
Oh yeah, he
But
is he is an enemy of my Chicago White Sox.
yes, and I know it might hurt to talk about them right now,
It's okay.
but they've got what, 4 wins now? I think is it 4 wins?
Yes, they're 4-22.
They just won their fourth yesterday or
Yes,
Friday.
they're 4-22, Randy. Put
no,
some more salt on the wound.
no, no. Well, what do you think? How do you think they can come back from this next year?
They can't.
Well, next year, I was saying next
Oh,
year,
next year.
or maybe the year after that.
I'm not really sure because their biggest asset right now is a milkshake. So, um, yeah, I think next year, what I see is if they don't bring up Colson Montgomery this year, I definitely see them bringing him up next year. I think he could be a fantastic addition to the team. Um, right now, honestly, Randy, like our pitching isn't that great. Our only ace is Garrett Crochet, and he was a reliever. So, like, what does that tell you? It tells you that the starters can't even get the job done. But offensively, the Sox are not very impressive. I think Eloy Jimenez and Andrew Benintendi are just two of the worst guys on the team. I was also like looking at my card collection the other day of Jan Moncada cards, and I have
Oh
so
man,
many, and he has
yes.
just been such a letdown for me. I don't think that it's any of these guys' fault though, because I do think if Moncada was still in the Red Sox organization, I think he would have come close to being in the MVP race.
Okay.
There's just something like in the White Sox's water or in their locker room, or I don't know if it's in the front office. I don't know what the issue is,
It
but
could be the front office.
it just seems like the amazing talent that passes through that comes onto the Chicago White Sox team, it just seems like they're not living up to their full potential. And I don't know if it's dietitians, I don't know if it's athletic trainers. We see Eloy Jimenez get injured all the time. That it's constantly a joke now that he should just be wearing bubble wrap at all times. Um, it's impossible for him to stay fully healthy. I think that, I think by July, you won't see some of these guys on the team. Trade for prospects,
Mm.
get some more prospects. We definitely need pitching, some solid hitters. I don't know how long Andrew Vaughn is going to be the White Sox everyday first baseman. They kind of switch between him and Gavin Sheets. I don't really see them as long-term first basemen like we previously had Abreu. So we definitely need somebody like a solid cornerstone, both offensively and defensively. I'd like to see a new left fielder. I'd like to
Okay.
see a new catcher. Um, I think infield is pretty decent in my opinion, especially if they bring up Colson at shortstop. Uh, but yeah, I think everywhere needs to be addressed. Everywhere needs to be addressed.
Well, if we're gonna talk our own teams that we like, the best thing that the Angels have is Mike Trout. I mean, besides outside of Mike Trout, there's not a ton to look at and point. Besides, if I were had to pick another player besides Mike Trout, it would be Reed Detmers of the starting rotation. He has done fantastic. This is the Reed Detmers that everyone thought he could be. And then, um, he had just done so well until his last start. Um, that unfortunately was marred by, I think, Jose Suarez, who I don't know how he still has a job with the Angels in the bullpen. He just comes in and you know that he's going to blow the game. He's going to give up 3 or 4 runs. And uh, I think most fans feel this way and think that Suarez should just be let go or DFA'd or something. I don't know if he has any options. I don't have that information in front of me. Detmers and Tyler Anderson are the two bright stars in the rotation. Still Seth going into the season was, then he got hurt. Griffin Canning, I had a lot of hope going into 2019, 2020, his rookie season. Um, it just hasn't done it. He hasn't brought it. And Patrick Sandoval, he just was amazing for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. And when he came back, he was just a normal Joe. He just didn't have that. I don't know if it was being with his, Team Mexico, his family, um, or the coaching or something. Like you said, coaching or trainers.
Culture could be, culture and
Yeah, I think it may have been the culture, but it's Southern California. There's a humongous Latino culture in Orange County.
I'm talking
Uh,
about clubhouse culture.
that also that's true.
And speaking with coaches and teammates that are fully speaking your language, and
Yes,
um,
yeah.
that's a huge thing. You remember that baseball is a huge mental game, so I think when you're in the zone and the culture of the clubhouse really speaks for how you play on the field as well. So that could be a really big thing.
Yeah, Sandy just hasn't been there canning. So when you only have, you know, 40% of your rotation that you can really rely on, um, it's not a good time. And the Angels are going to be another 500 or below team. I'm saying now, again, I think most Angels fans that aren't in denial are going to agree, especially with the guy. Who was it that you said should be wrapped up in bubble wrap?
Eloy Jimenez.
Jimenez at short. Um, Anthony Rendon may ring a bell. Only made it 19 games before he had an injury. Hamstring, partial tear. He'll be out until at least May, middle of May, with you know without surgery. If it's just physical therapy, partial tear is not the worst thing. And at least they didn't say, oh, we have to go and do surgery. Um, Surgery, I would say that he's got no chance of coming back on the baseball field this season. And then he's got 2 years on contract, and then we say goodbye. Um, but I think with the partial tear, I'm trying to be optimistic, even though the rest of my fantasy baseball team group that are all Angels fans say that he's done, he's cooked for the season. I'm saying that he's got another 30 games in him, possibly.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I see him possibly trying to rush the uh, injury and trying to come back on the field too fast, which he's done in the previous years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he'll re-injure himself probably
Mm-hmm.
again, and it'll come maybe 5, 10 games after he comes back, and then he'll do it again in another 20 games or so. So I'm saying he'll see a third of this entire season at best. This is me being optimistic, like I said.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It's
So
rough for you. It's rough for you Angels fans. I feel
yeah,
your pain coming, me coming from the South Side, I feel your pain in that. But you did mention Mike Trout. Will we ever see after this season, will we ever see Mike Trout in an Angels uniform ever again?
yes, he has said himself that he doesn't want to leave the Angels. He wants to win a World Series with the team. So
Really? Okay. Okay.
that's just him to reporters. Obviously, he has to keep that image up of
Of course.
loyalty. Unless if he says, "Oh no, I want to leave," this season, uh, Angels will just be devastated. They would have nothing to hold on to
I could
besides
see
their.
him playing. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say
Finish.
they would have nothing to hold on to besides their helmet
That's
nachos.
that's true. He is the face of the team, and has been for quite a while alongside Otani. And speaking of that, I do see Trout if this is his last season as an Angel, which I hope it isn't, but if it is, I see him going one of two places. One, I could totally see him suiting up as a Dodger, with his buddy Otani. I think that that would just be a killer offense. Also, just being again in the LA area has the fan base. I think so many Angels fans would cross over. I don't know if you would, but I
No,
could definitely see some fans crossing over to cheer on the team in blue. I could also see him playing for the Yankees and winning a World Series with the Yankees. He's from New Jersey, so I feel like he has a lot of family and fans on the East Coast. I could see him suiting up in the pinstripes and hoisting his first ever World Series above his head.
possibly. And the funny thing is, when you say that, I actually have a Team Japan jersey for Otani. I would just get a Team USA jersey for Trout.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
it's
smart.
still, rep the player, just not rep the new team. So
That's smart. I
I,
like it.
I'm still an Angels fan, but I'm also still
Yeah.
an Otani fan. I still like seeing him hit home runs. I like to see him do well. And if
Yes.
Trout ever left the Angels, I would still want to see him do well. Is also, um, speaking of, he is leading the league in home runs right now. Trout, like I said earlier, with 10. And I think that he can possibly win the AL MVP for a fourth time
Yeah,
this year.
if he stays healthy, I definitely see a successful All-Star game, maybe even
Mm-hmm.
hitting in the Derby. But I could see a successful AL MVP campaign from him for sure.
Definitely. And the team that I think he would go to if he went East Coast instead of Dodgers, because he does have a home here, and obviously family. It would be the Phillies. I think he would go
Okay.
there with his buddy Bryce Harper.
Okay.
Also got a former teammate in he's got it was an outfielder prospect that we had for a little bit, and he played.
Oh, Mickey Moniak?
No,
Well,
he's
he is
here.
on the Angels
He's on the
now.
Angels,
Gotcha.
uh, but it was the guy that we sent there. Big beard. Um, God, I had his card
That's
somewhere
not worth,
early.
is it?
So no, it's trying to look. It's
Trying to think people with big beards. Charlie Blackman, Worth.
no, I know he plays on and off. He actually had a home run last year in the postseason.
Turner, who
Uh,
has a big beard.
I'm trying. My God, I can't believe I can't think of this guy's name right now.
Marsh?
Brandon Marsh. Thank you. Thank
Yeah, I was trying to
Brandon
think of
freaking
all the
Marsh.
guys with long
Yes.
beards in the MLB.
So
Gotcha.
he knows Marsh. He's played with him. He obviously knows Harper from all the All Star games that they played in together, or
They grew up together.
against
In the MLB,
against.
they grew up
Yeah,
together.
they grew up basically the same, season. AL, NL, Rookie of the Years. They both got a couple of MVPs under their belts. All they need
Okay.
together is a World Series ring.
Yeah,
It would
and
be
Trout loves Philadelphia, huge Eagles fan. I think
yeah,
he's
he
even a
is.
season ticket holder. So I don't know if and this is just me, I've seen them as, I'm sure they're friends, I'm sure they're good friends in real life, but on the field, it feels like they were always rivals, in my opinion. I feel
Mhm.
like Mike Trout for a long time was the poster child of the AL, and Bryce Harper was the poster child of the NL. And so I always saw them, again, growing up together in the MLB on opposite sides. And I think for a long time it was which one of these young, talented superstars is going to, or phenoms, that was the
Yeah,
big word, which
yeah.
one of these two phenoms who are coming up at the same time is going to win the World Series first. So now I kind of see it as, are they going to ever join forces? And in my
Yeah.
opinion, I don't see it happening. I just
I,
don't.
I don't
I
know.
don't see it happening.
It would have to be a huge package for Mike Trout.
Huge. Huge. Like I
Huge.
don't even know what Philly would give up.
They
And
would
it
have
would
to
just
go
be Mike
pitching.
Trout,
Exactly. It would just be one player for
one player,
the
and like
package.
Philadelphia would like give away so much. I think Schwarber would stay, but I think pitching prospects,
Definitely
draft
pitching.
picks,
You
they'd
can't
probably throw in.
switch. Can't trade draft picks, unfortunately, in LBs, but it would definitely be.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you could.
No. You can't. Unfortunately, that's just
Oh,
I think
okay. Learn
football.
something new.
Yeah. So no draft picks, but definitely a lot of young pitching and possibly even catching or third base. I think
Yeah, absolutely. They might
if
even toss the Philly fanatic in there. I don't know.
maybe we need a new mascot. The monkey isn't doing it for us
Nah,
anymore.
the
Nah,
rally monkey.
no, the rally monkey's so
He
early
should,
2000s.
yeah, he should retire, huh?
He needs to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another pick that I want to change because the Pirates, who I have a take on. I had NL Rookie of the Year Paul Skeens, who's
hmm
just killing
Tearing
it.
it up in AAA.
Triple A, yeah, tearing it up in Triple A. It had a scoreless streak going until his fifth start, I think it was. Uh, and he still got like 7 strikeouts in that start. Gave up 2 runs, only one earned. So he's only got one earned run in 5 starts in AAA. I don't know how the Pirates have not called this kid up. They drafted him out of college for a reason. And so, not seeing him being called up yet, I think he's not going to be eligible for Rookie of the Year soon. I'm changing it to Shota Imanaga, who I wrote about
Mm,
a lot. I wrote a ton
okay.
of. I think it's been since the 1940s since someone has had 5 starts and not or had an ERA under one and just done it so well. I mean he was um he's 4-0, got an ERA under one. Like I said, I actually someone dropped him in my fantasy league. I don't know why. instantly grabbed him. And like this guy is tearing it up. And everyone talked about Yoshinobu because it's the Dodgers.
Right,
Like
right.
Yamamoto, he's gonna be huge, he's gonna do great. But it's the other Japanese guy on the other side of the country that's
Mm-hmm.
totally wiping it up in Naga. So
Yeah.
I'm changing my NL Rookie of the Year to Imanaga. I still want
Oh,
I
okay.
still want to keep the pitcher route, but I think it's Imanaga because he automatically went to the majors, obviously, with his
Yeah.
deal with the Cubs, and I think he's still going to. He's going to be an All Star,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to win Rookie of the Year. So, yeah, I'm going to change it
Yeah.
right here,
That,
right
I'll
now.
change it with you. I think he's just been an excellent addition to the Cubs rotation. And, I don't really know how much Hendricks has got left on the team, or left in him to play, but it's like it's really cool to see a new ace emerge on the north side. And I haven't gotten to watch too many of his games, but just to hear all the impressive recaps and videos that I see online, just a great asset. And he's getting along really well with the fans. I think there were some fans, one of his games that spelled out, Shota on their across their chests, and
Oh, I love it.
he reached out to a shirt company to like print out Shota shirts for them so that anytime they come out to the bleachers, they can cheer on Shota. So I think that he's already loved by fans. He was loved instantly, especially at his debut at Wrigley. So an excellent addition for the Cubs. My poor Sox, all I can think about is them, because like when I think about the north side, I also think about the south side too, and I'm just like, really our only bright spot was the campfire milkshake and Garrett Crochet. I don't have any other positive things to say about the Sox.
I'm sorry.
Whew, man, are they just hard to watch?
Yeah, I can understand that with, like I said, the Angels to an extent. Luckily, I don't want to, if anything happens to anyone after this podcast goes out, don't blame me. Blame the trainers, like we always do. But luckily, so far, the only major injury, has been done with the tear of the hamstring. Still Seth, unfortunately, rotation had partial injury, and he's back uh, rehabbing, I think, right now, and he'll hopefully be back in the rotation soon. So, still Seth has some dirty stuff, and we do have a new kid on the block, Jose Soriano, who's got some nasty pitches. So if you haven't watched Soriano, he's only got 2 starts in his career that have been in the last month, in this April. Um, but Soriano is someone to watch out, I think, in the future. And going back to your Northsiders, you said you
Mhm.
wanted to talk about Pete Crow.
It
What do you
did.
have? I
Another bright spot is Pete Crow Armstrong, Cubs' number one prospect. Last year we mentioned he got called up late in the season in September.
mm-hmm.
Only got he was 0 for 14. Obviously struggled offensively, but defensively was quite impressive. Had a few amazing catches in the outfield. And so I think that's why the Cubs still have their faith in him as the number one prospect. And called him up last week in the wake of Cody Bellinger's injury, which I predicted
You did
on the
predict. You
last
did
on the last
predict.
podcast. Um, Craig Counsell called up Pete Crow Armstrong. He played on Thursday against the Astros, and for his first MLB career hit a two-run home run into right
Yes,
field at Wrigley at home in
which
front
is
of thousands of fans.
which had to
And
have been amazing for him.
what was that?
It had to have been amazing for him personally.
Oh, if you've watched that clip of him running around the bases, I mean, he just looked like a kid that just hit his first home run. Just to be in Chicago. Your first hit is a home run. Ended up winning the game for him 3-1. So Pete Crow, just a fantastic few games here. The last, I believe he's played three so far this season. So it gives me hope for guys again, like we mentioned, Jackson Holiday is very similar to PCA and how he struggled offensively. It gives you faith that these guys, can be impressive defensively, but then offensively, of course, they need to practice more, maybe spend some more time in the cage, maybe spend some more time in AAA. So I'm hopeful for Holiday. PCA is just a test to show that, you can have maybe a rough start to the MLB level, but just keep practicing and you'll get your first ever home run.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw that the fan who caught it traded the home run ball for the bat that he used. So that is something you don't see too often with players. The first home run ball that we saw, just to bring up a little bit of controversy, I love controversy here on the podcast, that Otani hit with the Dodgers, which wasn't even a milestone home run. It wasn't a huge home run for his career. He didn't pass up Matsui until like a week ago, but the Dodger security made it a big deal apparently, and he supposedly told there's an interpreter, his new interpreter, um, that he saw the fan and gave you know them something in return for the home run ball. But it turned out that you know this never happened. The fan came out on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to call it, and said, "No, that's not at all what happened. Security, boxed me in. They kind of, intimidated.
Intimidated.
Yeah, it was just intimidated me into giving the ball up for almost nothing. They did get something. I forget what it was, but it was really, I think, classless of the Dodger organization how they handled it. Um,
Yes.
and again, like I said, it wasn't a milestone. It wasn't like his 150th, his
Right, right.
100th home run. It wasn't. He's already done that with the Angels. He only has a handful of home runs with the Dodgers, and it looked bad not only on the Dodgers but on him again because of what he said. It kind of it's just compiling. Everything's been really really bad ever since he's put on that blue jersey. I'm blaming that
Yes.
Dodgers jersey.
Bad
If
luck.
he had just stayed with the Angels, he
Yep.
would have never run into all this controversy. But alas, um, last thing I wanted to say that's not really a huge hot take, but I just think it's just been a matter of time. The Yankees are going to trade big at third base. They had DJ LeMahieu starting the hot corner, got hurt. They had traded for John Birdie, who was with the Marlins, and he was playing a little bit of third base, got hurt. They need someone to play third base to carry them to the playoffs and lose to the Braves.
Could they be making a run for Nolan Arenado?
Oh man, now that you say that, I mean, he would be an amazing defensive addition, which they already have a lot of offense, especially with the Juan Soto trade. I have to see if Machado is available. I know that he just signed an extension with the Padres, and obviously the Padres want to try and get to the playoffs. They want to try and win the World Series. But the Yankees have a good farm system, even though that they people say that they buy rings. When was the last time that they won the World Series? You look back, it's been a while,
Been a while. It's been a while.
and it wasn't through free agents. That's for sure. They're not going to the playoffs through free agents all the time. They got Jason Dominguez coming back in the outfield. They have Juan Soto in the outfield. They have Aaron Judge in the outfield. They got Rizzo playing first base. It's just that hot corner. They need someone big to fill in that hole and play third base for them. Maybe they could make a trade with your White Sox for Brian Ramos, who's a third base prospect.
Yeah, I don't know if I
So,
see that. I don't know if I see that happening. I don't know if they'd want someone that's not quite been familiar with the MLB level yet, to play at such a sharp position at third base. I think they'd want somebody more experienced. Like you said, I think Machado would be a great pick. I'm
yeah.
gonna stick with Arenado. I don't know. Um,
Okay.
I really don't know if the Yankees would want to make a trade for Arenado. But
Mm,
it could also be somebody that they just transition into third base.
that's
Um,
true. That's true.
so there's also a lot of top infield talent. The Cubs have a lot of top infield talent. Maybe make a deal with the Cubs.
So Christopher Morel, maybe he.
Possibly, possibly, possibly Christopher Morel.
Um,
Um,
I just looked in. Machado unfortunately has a full no trade clause, so
okay.
he can nix that trade if it ever happened. I think Nolan Arenado also has a no trade clause. I don't know if it's full, but I know he does have a no trade. But he wanted to leave Colorado, so. Uh, but then again, in a couple of years that he's been with the Cardinals, it hasn't been a really competitive atmosphere for him. And
No,
whereas where he went, if he goes to New York, it would be definitely a very competitive
and he
atmosphere.
definitely he definitely fits the bill for the national level talent too.
Exactly.
Um,
Yes, he's a big name, big
Yes,
face.
huge name. All-star, just gold glove third baseman, I think would really fit well. You mentioned the atmosphere. I think just the whole national attention, especially given by ESPN, and he's just one of those faces. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, I have to agree. Now that I look at it, the Machado and Arnado, I think that the Yankees would definitely lean more towards Arnado. So he fits their bill a lot better than Machado, especially the that clubhouse. You know, um, just the atmosphere, that the energy that Machado brings. He's very energetic. He's
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Latino players are very, very, very energetic,
Why do you
and
hate to say it? I'm Latino too.
I know that's
Half
true. It's
anyway.
half, but um, as far as the players go, I've heard and read things about Machado being a little bit too
Like
machismo.
in a bad way, energetic in like a
Yeah, distracting
distracting
way.
way. Oh,
That's
okay.
what I
Yeah,
heard.
I'm not that. I'm not
Yeah,
that.
I've heard that he's clashed with past uh, uh, teammates. So
Okay.
I don't think the Yankees would want to bring that into their clubhouse. But Arenado seems like a very straight L, you know,
Oh yeah.
guy. He just shows up to the field every day, does his reps, goes to the batting cage, and then he plays and does his job. And not only Gold Glove, but Platinum Glove. We're talking elite level defense at third base.
Yeah, probably the
So
best in the game.
probably honestly, as far as defense. Uh, and then Machado is very good defensively, and he's also very durable. I even wrote a whole article about his durability,
Mhm.
and I was gonna write about his free agency that was coming up last year, but he signed an extension with the Padres. So it was on the money when it came to that, as far as years and almost numbers for money. But yeah, I mean, this guy is talking about, Iron Man earlier, Cal Ripken Jr. At short, he's basically that guy at third. Um, he
Exactly.
almost never misses a game during the season, and he's also very clutch. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say for hot takes or April? Anything that to take away from April?
Anything to take away from April? Um, Not much, honestly. Just, I feel like Chicago baseball has not been, well, Chicago White Sox baseball hasn't been great, and I feel like a lot of us that are rooting for the Sox feel like a lot of us are watching Cub games now because we just want to see good Chicago baseball. And
Okay.
so, I've definitely been cheering on the Cubs. They're very fun. They're more fun to watch than the Sox this year. I hate to say it, but they actually have been more fun in the last 2 years, in my opinion. But as far as any other hot takes, I don't really have any other hot takes. You mentioned Texas may not make it to the World Series. I think they were one of the teams that I had going to the World Series, but of course we were making some official new changes um, to our predictions, and so again, I stick with the Dodgers making it to the World Series, to representing the NL. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I'm gonna go with a Dodgers versus Baltimore matchup. I've been really impressed with the Dodgers offensively. Defensively, I've been impressed with Baltimore, so it's going to be a battle to see if the bats can beat up the pitching. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited to see if our any of our new predictions will be correct.
exactly. Yeah, we'll look at that in almost a year. That's in November when they announce the awards. So, um, obviously, I think my Cy Young prediction for AL is gone. He's on the injured list. I think I had Garrett Cole, and now he's on the injured list. Definitely not gonna win the Cy Young. Um, I forgot who I had on NL, but it's I had Dylan Cease winning NL because he got swapped to the Padres. So
Padres, yep.
yeah, I thought that Cy Young was going to go to Dylan Cease because he was very 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 close to winning AL Cy Young last year,
Hmm.
and I don't think he has that competition in National League. So I think he has a chance to win a Cy Young if he picks it up a little bit.
Yeah,
We saw a lot of people get traded and a lot of people get signed very, very last minute. Blake Snell. Blake Snell, who signed a short deal with the Giants, just looks terrible right now. Doesn't look
yeah.
like a Cy Young winner.
No,
But Kyle Harrison, rookie, look out for him. And I still do think that the Giants have a chance to playoffs, actually. Uh,
really, is that your hot take?
that is my last hot take of the episode is
Okay.
Giants will make the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
So
You heard it here. Write it down,
I'm writing it down.
save it, email it to yourself.
Yeah,
I don't think that they're gonna make it to the playoffs.
I think they could make it through the wild card.
Okay.
That is technically the playoffs.
Yes, it is. If they
So
do make it to the wild card, if they do make it to the wild card, I see them losing.
I didn't say they would go far, but I definitely do think that they could make the playoffs. Yes,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
if it's even if it's just for a series, I think that's the last hot take today. And I think that's where we can wrap up things for the most part. Um, I don't have any other news. I already said that Ozzy Albies is back for second base for the Braves. You told us about Pete Crow Armstrong and his home run, first hit and first home run of his
And
career.
yep, first RBI, all
Yeah, all of it
the
in
big
one.
three, the
Yeah,
big three. Yeah,
yeah,
he had a big day. He had a
yeah.
big day.
So first hit, first home run, first RBI of his career, and hopefully not the only one. Hopefully he hits a lot more. And
Oh yes.
with two fractured ribs, let me. I forgot to say he has two fractured ribs. Cody Bellinger. I think PCA is gonna have a good window of time to show off what he's got. So I don't think it's just gonna be a week or 2 weeks. I think it's going to be a couple of weeks to possibly a month or so,
Absolutely.
where Pete Crow can step and play.
PCA is
Yeah,
here to stay.
PCA is here to stay. Yeah, hopefully not too long. You don't want your shiny toy to be broken too long. But then again, I'm torn because I do want PCA to stay and show off what he can do, but you also have Cody Bellinger, who was NL Comeback Player of the Year last year, and I think he's good. He's better than that. He's just better than that.
We'll
Um,
get him some bubble wrap too.
yeah, yeah, he might need it, but I think that's all, folks. Again, thanks everyone for putting in your guesses for the Jose Ramirez card that went to Brian Boylan. I'll reach out to you on Instagram. Thanks for jumping in, Martin. And maybe next time I'll put out someone that's also on a top contender. Or maybe it'll be an autograph. Who knows? Something new. Today is live recorded on the spot. And Stephanie, thank you for joining me. It's been a joy. And see you next time.
Thanks, Randy.